My name is Ayala Livny, and I make dumb decisions. If there was a Dumb Decisions Anonymous, I'd go to meetings, monthly. It started when I was young. When I was 4, my best friend and I decided we wanted candy. Couldn't find any in our houses, so decided to go trick-or-treating without costumes in August. When I was in college, friends and I decided that it would be really good fun to drive topless through West Virginia and go through the cash-only toll booth. They apparently needed 2 officers to pull us over that day. But my most memorable dumb decision took place in Maine in the summer of '95 under a meteor shower. Now, I grew up in Chicago, surrounded by corn, and spent much of my younger years dreaming of mountains and pine trees and lakes. In my freshman year in college, I decided that what I needed to do was get myself to Maine for the summer. So, not having any real money or any real skills, I decided to apply to be a camp counselor. I got hired by a camp in Maine to teach photography and be a cabin counselor to 12-year-old girls. The summer was wonderful. It was everything that I had hoped it would be, and I managed not to get in trouble until the meteor shower. Now, it was one of those meteor showers, you know, the kind that comes once in a generation, and I decided that I would go and wake up my girls so that we could go out and watch the night sky. So I came to the cabin at midnight, and I poked the first girl, told her there was a meteor shower, we should get up and watch it. She pulled the covers over her head and turned around and just said no. The next girl told me to fuck off, and the third girl didn't even wake up. I went from girl to girl, losing my confidence until I got to my last girl, my last hope, a girl named Lisa, who was my favorite camper. And I poked her and I said, "Lisa, there's a meteor shower outside, let's go watch it." And she sat up in bed and rubbed her eyes and groggily said, "Okay." So I said, "Get a sweatshirt, it's cold." I grabbed the blanket and the flashlight and off we went. We walked for about 5 minutes in silence, when all of a sudden she turned to me and said, "Ayala, I'm not wearing any pants." You're what? I'm not wearing any pants. I didn't wear any to sleep, and I forgot them on. I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry. Now, this is where my terrible decision-making comes into play. A normal person would have gone back to the cabin, gotten her a pair of pants, and been off with it. But I didn't want to lose momentum. So I said, "Well, just take mine." For some reason in my head at that moment, I thought, well, if the director of the camp walks by and sees a camper and a counselor in the middle of the field on a blanket in the middle of the night, it would look a lot better if the camper is wearing pants and the counselor is not, than the other way around. So I gave her my pants, and we walked up to the soccer field. We put the blanket down and started to look up. She said she had never seen a shooting star, and we watched star after star after star paint its way across the midnight canvas. And the loons called on the lake, and the owls hooted in the trees. And we talked about the things that you talk about under a midnight sky in Maine. Talked about life and love and boys and God and souls and what happens after you die. She said that being there under the expanse of the universe made her feel so small and so tiny and insignificant in the world. And I told her about the Jewish proverb that says, "You must always carry 2 pieces of paper with you. In your left hand, a piece that says, 'I am nothing but dust and ashes,' and in the right hand, a piece that says, 'For me, the world was created.' And our task is to believe that those are both true at all times." We laid there until the night got cold and we got sleepy and the stars slowed down. We headed back, we gathered our things and headed back, and we walked back to the cabin. Thankfully, we didn't bump into anybody. And right before we got back in the door, she turned to me and said, "Thanks, that was really cool." I said, "No problem." And she paused again and said, "Do you want your pants back now?" That night was almost 20 years ago. Lisa, my camper, is 30. I don't know where she is or what she's doing, but I like to think that when she thinks back on that night, she doesn't think about how absolutely inappropriate it was for her counselor to take off her pants to go look at the sky. And instead, I hope she remembers the honesty and connection that happens in those magical moments. And as for me, I'm a parent now. I've got 2 kids of my own. And when I think about being a parent, I think often about what are the things that I want to pass on of myself and what do I want to end with me. And I think about my dumb decisions, and I don't regret any of them. They've been some of the most memorable and alive moments of my life. I hope my thanks. And I hope that my kids don't make perfect decisions. I want them to make safe decisions, and I want them to make kind decisions and just decisions, but I don't want them to miss meteor showers at midnight in Maine just because they don't have pants on. My name is Ayala Livny. I make dumb decisions, and I hope that my children will too.